Have you seen this little bait? It's the Raid two-way. There are lots of anglers who are interested in these JDM or Japanese domestic market products. Well, why? Because so many of them are developed for the highly pressured waters in Japan. I first saw this lure a while ago. I wanted to do some experimenting with it and see what it actually looks like underwater. I'm going to be showing you 4 different rigging methods. We'll start with the one I was least impressed with and finish up with my favorite one of the 4. You often see this lure on wacky rigs. The first footage you will see here is a weighted wacky. Even with a really small weight, this lure just falls extremely quickly. And even when we slow the footage down, we can see that there is not really much added action with the weighted hook, unlike the added action you would get on a traditional 5-inch stick bait. This lure is just too small and the weight overpowers it. I would probably never fish it this way unless I'm in some current or heavy wind. Now, number 2 is the weightless version of this wacky rig. While you can see its appeal with a very, very slow sink, there isn't as much action with the legs or appendages as I thought there would be. But the real reason this isn't higher on my list is because of that slow sink. It's almost like dead sticking. I would definitely think, though, that it would be gobbled up pretty readily when working carefully around some visible cover, but for me personally, I like to fish a little faster than that. Well, on to number 3, and these last 2 are the rigging methods I will use by far the most when trying this lure out. This one is on a drop shot but wacky hooked. The added action to the lure from small movements on the drop shot rig looks great. It really looks like some sort of insect, and I'm quite confident that drop shotting this lure will catch a ton of finicky fish, and I'm sure it's something different than a lot of anglers are actually throwing. But number 4 is my favorite. Here I have the lure on a jig rig or a really small Jika rig, but you could also rig it like a Ned rig. Either way, I love how great this looks when moving along the bottom. As it crawls in and out of the rocks, it looks extremely lifelike. And with the water movement along this wind-blown point I was fishing, you can witness and see the appendages come to life. The little weight holds the bait in place and the slight current pushes against those legs. I personally think it looks great. Now, some of you are probably thinking it looks just like some of the Hellgrammite lures that are on the market by a range of manufacturers. And I would say you're exactly right. If you have some experience with this little plastic lure, let us know what you think down below. I look forward to using it this year and seeing what happens. And hey, if you would like to watch a video on what I think is the easiest way to master a jig bite, go ahead and check this one out right here. And make sure to go out and encourage someone today. You never know how you might just change their life. For the Bass Fishing Life, I'm your host, Steve Rogers.